Now let us start doing the fourth, fifth, and sixth problem in the control systems. Previously, we had finished the first three problems. Now let us continue with the fourth, fifth, and sixth problem. The fourth problem is we have to draw the root locus for the system g of s, which is given. And for this, we have to find the open loop transfer function. Open loop transfer function is g of s into h of s. Closed loop transfer function will be g of s into g of s by 1 plus g of s into h of s. Whereas open loop transfer function is g of s into h of s. Okay, for whenever we have to draw the root locus for a closed loop system, first we have to find the poles and zeros using the open loop transfer function. The poles and zeros are got from the open loop. Using that, we have to draw the root locus for the closed loop system. So first, let us consider the open loop transfer function. And from that, we see we have a numerator as well as the denominator. Numerator represents zeros. So when we find the solution, we see s equal to -1. So that is s equal to -1 will be a 0. There is a 0 at s equal to -1. And because there are 4 poles in the denominator, that is at s equal to 0, s equal to -2, s equal to -1 plus or minus j 1.41. The order of the system is s power 4, so we have 4 poles. Denominator represents the poles of the system. The same has to be plotted on the graph. The y-axis becomes the you can write this y-axis as the imaginary axis. Okay, I can write it as j omega. It is j omega, and the real axis, it is the this is the real axis, and we have the zeros, one at 0, sorry, poles at 0, -2, then at the other in the complex plane, and we have a 0 at -1. We'll have to plot this. Then coming to the next, we have to see the we will have to recognize which part of that is in this which part becomes the part of root locus and which is not the part of root locus. That is a real axis, and from the graph we can see which is the part of root locus. Okay, here we can see which becomes the part of root locus. What is the necessary condition? If I consider a test point anywhere, if I suppose I consider a test point somewhere here, okay, to the right of this test point, the number of poles plus 0 should be a odd. Is it odd? We have only one pole, so it is an odd. So this becomes the part of, that is from 0 to -1. This part of the real axis is this part of the real axis from here to here. It is the part of root locus. What about here? If I consider, we will have 4 from this end to this end. From here to here, is it a part of root locus? Can we have a root locus there? No, because what is the total number of poles and zeros? What is the count? It is even. So it is not a part of root locus, whereas from 0 to -1, it is a part of root locus. From here onwards, what about from this part onwards? Here, from this part, what about this part onwards? Is that going to be a part of root locus? Yes, of course, because there the poles and zeros count from here, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is an odd number, so that becomes a part of root locus. This is part of root locus and this is a part of root locus, whereas this from -1 to -2 is not a part of root locus. So the same thing is discussed here. Okay, from -2 to infinity is part of root locus. Then we have to calculate the angle of asymptotes. What are asymptotes? Asymptotes are the guiding lines. Okay, always the root locus starts from a pole and it converges at a 0. If it doesn't find a 0, then they start moving towards a 0 somewhere at infinity. Then when they are moving like that, these root locus, it has to be guided, and these lines, these asymptote lines will guide those root locus. Okay, in the equation, if we see, we did not find any zero. It only had poles. So we all that is, I mean, sorry, it had one zero and it had four poles. So if I start looking at now, looking at this, see, what you have four poles and one zero. So one of the pole will come. The root locus from this pole will come and converge at this zero. But what about for these three? They don't have any zeros. So the pole root locus which starts from here should go like this. The root locus which starts from here should go like this. The one which starts from here should go like this, searching for zero at somewhere at infinity. So, but how will you know whether here, I mean, should it go like this, should it go here, or should it go like this, or like this? So, to guide them, we should have a asymptote. That is the role of asymptote, guiding the root locus. Next, basically, as I said, there are three asymptotes, three root locus which has to be guided. Meaning one of them will it finds a zero nearby and it will converge over there. But the other three will not find a zero. It will have to move towards infinity to find one. So it has to be guided. So you require three asymptotes. So n value will be 1, 3, 5. Based on that, applying the values in the equation, the angle of asymptotes will be 60, 180 degree and 300 degree. Then centroid. From where will this root locus start? It should start from a center point. So the centroid, that is either you can take it as total pole and total minus total zero values, or real part of pole minus real part of zero. By either equation, it will give you the centroid is at minus 1. Okay, along with the zero, you have a centroid. Then keep the protractor right at the centroid. Mark, okay, you'll have to mark 60 degree, mark 60 degree here, then mark 180 degree here, then 300 will be somewhere here. So mark those points. Then using dotted lines, connect them, okay? Then after that, see these are the asymptotes. Then we have to find a breakaway point. When we look at this root locus, we see that this will not have a breakaway point. Okay, breakaway. See what happens here is when we have a that is, this is a real axis and sorry, imaginary, this is the real axis. We will have a pole. Always the root locus starts from a pole. This is, suppose this is a pole and this is a pole. Okay. At the pole, the gain value, k value will be 0. At the pole, the gain value will be 0. That we have seen the initial class when we were discussing, when k was equal to 0, there were two roots. One was at s equal to 0, then one was at s equal to minus a. So when k equal to 0, you have two poles here. Okay, one here, the other one will be here. Then at this point, that is at this point in the pole, the k value, the gain value will be 0. Now the root locus will start from, they will start coming out from these, they'll start coming out from these poles here, and from this end they'll start coming out. As they come out, the k value goes on increasing. The k value will increase. It comes like this. This also from this end it comes here, and finally at one particular point they meet. At this point is called the breakaway point. At this point, the k value, here it was 0, but k value, if you see, there we had taken a k value which was, that is, k was equal to a square by 4. So that value goes on increasing. As it goes on increasing, they meet at a point and then later on they break. One goes up like this, the other root comes down like this. So at this point, the k value is maximum and it is differentiated. To find the value, we differentiate it by s and equate it to 0. Okay, then the particular value of s, what is that s value? It is a value that real coordinate. S value is nothing but the coordinate on the real axis. That is coordinate here. This value is the s value where breakaway happens. So that value is got by equating, differentiating and equating it to 0. But for this problem, we will not have a breakaway point. because we have one that is one pole which will already meet the 0. The other 3 poles will go by itself towards the 0. It will not converge and then breaking will not happen here. So then we'll have to find at what point they meet the, that is, as I said, if I have the axis like this, as the pole go like this, they meet the imaginary axis somewhere here. So at what point they meet the imaginary axis, we have to find out. So now for that, we have to find the K margin, okay? K margin, remember how we found out, we have to use the routes array. From the routes array, we have to consider the last row. What is the condition for the system to be stable? That is, the values in this column should always be 0 or greater than 0. 0 means it is marginally stable, or it should be greater than 0. It should not be less than 0. So now anyway, K here, it should be greater than 0. Here, let it be equal to 0. Make this equation here. Either it should be greater than or it should be equated to 0. Marginally stable means for marginal stability. Okay. This is for marginal stability. This is for K marg. You get K marginal stability. Then now equate this equation to 0. You get 2 values of K. K value cannot be negative for marginal for stability. It has to be positive. So this is the actual value of K. This will be the actual value of K. So for actual value of K, see here is whatever we were calculating where the root locus meets the y-axis, imaginary axis. But what is this value? This value of for a K negative, we get a value on the real axis. So it is not the proper value. So this is a proper value. Then we have to calculate the angle of departure. What is angle of departure? How do we calculate angle of departure? That is, we have, this is the, see, this is our axis. This is our, we have a pole here, and we have a pole here, and we have a pole here, okay, and we have a pole here, and we had a 0 here. Angle of departure is always for the poles which are on the S plane, not for something on the real axis. For these two, we'll have to calculate the angle of departure. So to calculate that, we have to find what this angle makes with respect to each of this. What is this angle? What is the angle this is making with respect to this pole and as well as with respect to this 0? What is the angle this pole makes with respect to this pole? So you have to calculate this angle, this, you have to calculate this as well as this angle. So what is, suppose this is P1, okay, and this is P3, this is P3, and this is let us say this is P4, this whatever we have is P4, and P4, yeah, and this is P2, okay, and this is Z1. This is Z1 here. The angle, this P1, that is the angle between the angle made when you join P1 and P3. This angle is 126. The angle between P2, this is P2, this is P2, and this is P3. The angle made here, the angle made between P2, this one is P2, and P3. When you join this line, whatever angle you get, this angle is nothing but 54. The angle between P4, this is P4, you have a pole here, P4, and this, when you join the line, exactly you see it is 90 degrees. You add, you get 270. What is the angle made between this 0 and this? They are on straight line. When you join this, what is the angle between this line and the real axis? 90 degree. That is 90. Then total angle from pole minus total angle of 0. 270 minus 90 is 180. So the angle of departure is 180 minus this 5. So it is 0. So the angle of departure for both of them will be 0. Now see here, the other way you can also calculate is using the mag, that is when we here this pole here, we had a pole here. Okay, we had a pole here. This pole, what is the coordinate of this pole? What is the coordinate of this pole? Coordinate of this pole is nothing but 0, 0. What is the coordinate of this pole here? What is the value? It is nothing but -1 plus j 1.41. So now what is a, you'll have to subtract this from this value 0. Okay, so you will get a mag value, convert it into magnitude, that is the polar form, you'll get the angle. Again, what is P2? P2 is here. Okay, P2 is here. What is the coordinate of P2? It is 2, 0. Okay, there is no imaginary part. The coordinate of this P2 is nothing but 2, 0. There is no imaginary part. It is 2 plus j. So now again add -1 plus j 1.41 minus, this is -2. Okay, -2, 0 or -2 plus j 0. This I can write it like this. So it is -2 plus j 0, so that I can write the coordinate and I can find the values in polar form. I'll get the angle. So similarly for the other two also you can do and find the angles. Either you can use protractor or if you don't have protractor, by using the coordinates you can do and find out the angle. Okay, finally then you will have to see, as I was telling you, you'll have to keep the protractor and using this, that is the angle between this line and this line, you have to measure this. You have the pole here, the pole is over here, so that will give you some angle. Then from between this and you have the pole here, so this angle you have to measure. See this angle. Similarly from P2 you have to measure the pole is somewhere here. Okay, pole will be somewhere here. We have the pole here. So what is the angle made by this point? It is the angle made here between this is 54. So this is a 54 here. So that you have to calculate. Then finally, using the formula, you have to calculate the angle of departure. Okay, and now to write the angle of departure, you have to keep the protractor like this and mark the angle. Angle in this case was 0. So where is 0? It is this. Means what? You have to mark something. Means what? The root locus comes out with 0 and proceed towards the imaginary axis, crosses the imaginary axis and goes along with the asymptote towards infinity. It goes towards the infinity. Okay. It comes out from the here, if this is 0, here it is coming out making plus value. There it is so it comes out. See, if I have a suppose we have a line like this, see the angle, see the angle, it is 0. It is not making any angle. It comes out making 0 angle. Then it proceeds like this towards the imaginary. It cuts the imaginary axis here and it goal to converge towards a 0, which is at infinity. And how will it go? It will go along the asymptotes. Here we have the asymptotes. Parallel to the asymptote, it goes parallel to the asymptote. And one more, you see, you had a pole here which converged at the 0. You have another pole which will start and move towards the 0 and converge somewhere at infinity. So for three which is going to converge at 0 at infinity, you will have 3 asymptotes. But one of them, it will all when it starts and finally it comes here, it meets a 0 here. So this is for the first problem. Okay. Here we will just try to do the same thing using MATLAB. If possible, we'll just see. I'll show you. We have to find the system first. We have to write the system transfer function. Then for the system transfer function, we have to this is the system transfer function. Okay, for the system transfer function, we have to write the root locus. The root locus graph, we'll get the root locus graph. The root locus graph is here. Okay. Now, see, this is the root locus graph that we have got. We'll maximize this. See here, we had 4 poles, so we have 4 root locus. And let us see how those values of k. See here, I'll just keep here. See, as I'm moving the value, see, the point where the root locus starts, that is, where will it start? It will start on a pole. At that point, the gain is 0. As it moves towards the 0 of the system, the gain becomes infinity. Okay. Here also, I can show, we can keep it and show. At this point, wherever the root locus starts, at the pole, the gain is 0. As it moves towards the 0 or the root 0, the gain goes on increasing. Okay. Here you see, it starts making angle 0, proceeds towards the imaginary axis and moves to converge at a 0, which is at infinity. That is 0, it assumes that there is a 0 and it is very far and it will start proceeding towards it. So to converge there. Here also it starts from here, see the angle, it is almost 0. If I draw a line like this, okay, if I draw a line, if we draw a line here, see the angle between these line and the exactly at this point, okay, exactly at this point, what is the angle? It is 0. It comes making angle 0, comes towards the imaginary and proceeds. So this is how the root locus looks. Okay, now coming to the next problem. Let us go to the next problem. Yeah, the 5th problem, again here, a unity feedback system has an open loop for transfer function, G of S is given. Then we know for a closed loop, to find the root locus of a closed loop, we have to first consider the open loop transfer function. The poles and zeros of the open loop transfer function will decide the root locus of a closed loop, because the root locus will start from a pole of a open loop transfer function, from the pole of a open loop transfer function. So how many zeros are there? There are no zeros. It has 3 poles. Order of the system is S cubed, so it will have 3 poles. The solution will have it will have 3 solutions in the denominator. So these are where the poles are going to be. So correspondingly, we will have to mark those poles at 0. Then the other 2 will be at -2 plus or minus J3. So correspondingly, it is marked. Then again, section of the region which is the root locus and non-root locus has to be identified. If you look here, if I consider a point here, that is a C, suppose I consider a point, let us this be C. Towards the right of C, it is an odd number. If I consider something over here, after 2 also it is going to be an odd number, -2. After -2 also it is an odd number. So the entire left-hand side of the real axis will be a root locus. Then asymptotes. We don't have a 0 here, so all of them, all the root locus that starts from the pole will have to converge at a 0 which is at infinity. So all of them have to be guided. So 3 asymptotes. So again, based on the equation, we have to calculate the three asymptotes, the 60, 180 and 300 degree. Then calculate the centroid using this formula. Okay, that is total pole value minus total zero value or real part, because here anyway these imaginary values, see these, this is minus j3 and this is plus j3, it is anyway going to cancel, so it is equivalent to considering only the real part. So it is giving you minus 1.33, so 1.33 is somewhere here. Then keeping the protractor, that is here, this is 1.33, keeping the protractor at the center, mark 60, 180 and 300 and join those points with dotted lines. So this is going to be the asymptotes, guiding lines. Then again you'll have to calculate the breakaway point. Again there is only one pole on the real axis. We will have a breakaway point only if there are two poles on the real axis. If you have a two poles on the real axis, then you will have a breakaway point. They'll come and they'll converge and they'll start moving towards. But here we only have one pole on the real axis, so there is no breakaway point. Okay, uh, and no, and even if we try to find out, we see that the value that is for that is taking dk when we do this. That is, if you find the differential value of k with respect to s, why do we have to do that? Because at breakaway point, the k value is maximum on the real axis. So we differentiate it with s and find the value. But here it cannot be an imaginary value. First of all, there is no two poles on the real axis. Only if you have two poles on the real axis. See, if I have two poles on the real axis like this, okay, this is the imaginary and this is the real axis. If I have two poles, one pole here and one pole here, okay, there are two root locus which comes from this end, the other one comes, and they both converge here and then big. But in this case, in our case, we have only one pole that is also at somewhere at zero. We don't have anything here. There are no two poles. There is no two poles on the real axis. On the real axis, there are no two poles. So there is no breakaway point. Okay. Next, coming to finding where they meet the intersection, that is intersect at the imaginary axis. Point of intersection with the imaginary axis will be of using the routes array. That is, here we have to find that is this row, that is S1 row has to be equated to 0. Then we find K is 52. Then from S2 row we get the auxiliary equation. From that we S is plus or minus J 3.6. Again find the angle of departure. We have to find the angle of departure. So in this case, angle of departure, when we calculate using the protractor or the coordinates value, we get 125 and 90 degree. For poles, there are no zeros, so it is it is 215. 125 plus 90 is 215. Then 215, 180 minus 215 is minus 35. So on the if here suppose here this is the imaginary axis and we have the real axis and we have the two poles here. Okay, uh, one pole is here, the other pole is here. Finally we calculate, that is what is the angle made. How do we calculate what is the angle made? This angle is 125 and this angle is 90 degree. So the total departure angle we got, that is minus 35. So minus, if this is a 0 degree, minus 35 is like this. Okay, this represents minus 35 degree. And if this is minus 35, that is, if the root locus is coming out making an angle of minus 35 like this, on this side, if this is a 0 degree, it is making an angle of plus 35. Here it has to be making an angle of plus 35. It has to come out up. Here it is coming down. The root locus will come down, making an angle of minus 35. Here it has to go, root locus should come out going up. So it is plus 35 degree and it will go up like this and come down and meet the imaginary, intersect the imaginary axis here. And yeah, this is, see, this was to calculate, then it is minus 35 and plus 35 here. And see how they come out making an angle of 35. If I keep the protractor between these two lines, that is between the 0° and this line, this angle will be 35. It comes out making an angle 35 and then proceeds crossing the imaginary axis at j 3.6 and proceeds towards the infinity to converge at a 0. Whereas this root locus starts from this pole and it proceeds again towards the infinity. Okay, this is the root locus that we have got. Before going to the next problem, again we will just see how to we'll just go back to the MATLAB and we will see how we can find out the root locus. We will just see the root locus here. See, we have 3 poles and 3 root locus. Okay. If I now in this case, if I mark here, see if I mark a straight line, we see there is an angle. There is an angle here. Okay. There is an angle between. There is an angle here. This angle from this small angle, it represents 35. Okay. You can see. I can show you again. This is the straight line. This angle. This is a straight line. This angle, small angle, is 35. It comes out, then crosses the imaginary axis and proceeds. Okay, here again you can see. If we are trying to see the gain value here, okay, as we move it is 0, then as we proceed towards the 0, the gain value goes on increasing. Here also you can just see, okay, as we come to the point where the root locus starts, that is on the onset of the root locus at a pole, the gain is 0, and as it proceeds, the gain goes on increasing. This is the point, okay, it was 3 point minus 3 j 3.6 plus j 3.6. The k marginal value, this was 52. Here it is showing 58, 50.8, and it is minus j 3.58. So this is how the root locus has to be drawn. Yeah, I did not share this. See, this is sorry. This is the root locus that we have got. Okay, as we see, as I'm moving this, as we are moving, as we move this point along the root locus, we have a point here. As we move this point along the, see here, let me get it here. Here it is crossed. Here, yeah, here it is minus j 3.58. What we have got is minus j plus or minus j 3.6, and the gain was 52, but here the gain it is showing as 50.8. And one more thing is, as I was telling you, when the root locus starts, the gain is 0. As it proceeds towards the 0, the gain goes on increasing. So this is in this case. Here also the same case happens here also. At the the point where the root locus starts, that is at the pole, the gain is 0, and as it proceeds towards the 0, the gain goes on increasing. It's the same on this axis also, on this root locus also. Then we'll go to the next problem, that is the The sixth problem, here again the transfer function, Okunov transfer function is given, for which you have to sketch the root locus. From the Okunov transfer function, we see it has a 0 at -9, and it has 3 poles at 0, then at -2 plus or minus j 2.64. Then we'll have to mark the parts of the that is the region of root locus. Again, looking at the odd and even number, we'll have to mark the region of root locus. Then angle of asymptotes. Okay, here you have 3 poles and 1 0. So one of them here, the one of the pole will meet this 0. But what about these two? They don't have any. So you will have to guide them towards 0. So you will have to have 2 asymptotes. So you have to have 2 asymptotes. So one asymptote will be at 45 degree. The other one, sorry, this is 90 degree. Okay. The other one here, this is 90 degree. Please make it as 90 degree. Here you have it as 90 degree. Okay, then it is not 45, it is 180 by 2, it is 90 degree. This is 180 by 2 is 90, the other one is at 270. So then, yeah, mark all the poles and zeros. After that, you have the centroid, which is at plus 2.5. At plus 2.5, you have the centroid. Then at with plus 2.5 centroid, keeping the protractor there, 90 and 270, you have the two values. Here you have 90 and this is 270. Mark the angles. Then after that, again, you have to calculate the breakaway point. Again, when you look at this, for one pole there is a 0. You have one pole here, okay. This is the imaginary axis, real axis. You have a pole here and we have a 0 here. So this pole, root locus which comes out will converge here. We have one pole here and one pole here. They'll anyway start going like this towards the 0. So there is no question of they coming to the real axis and converging and all. So breaking away. So there is, if we have two poles, if I have two poles on the real axis, I can think of them coming and breaking up, coming towards each other and breaking up, because we don't have two poles on the real axis. So we have to we don't have to calculate the breakaway point directly. Let us see where the root locus will intersect the imaginary axis. Again, using the routes array, we have to calculate the point where they intersect the imaginary axis. The point will be plus or minus j 4.35. Then again, calculate the angle of departure. Okay, how many do we have here? We have see here, we'll have to calculate the angle of departure from here, from this point, from this pole, as well as from this 0. Here we have to calculate angle of departure, the first angle of departure. You have to calculate the second angle of departure. Here this will be the third one. This is from the 0. These two are from the poles. Okay, this will be from the 0. These two will be from pole 1 as well as from the pole 3. You always have angle of departure only for the poles which are on the complex plane, not for these which are on the real axis. Then after keeping the protractor or using the magnitude criteria, we see that from the pole at s equal to 0, it is 128, and at the another pole it is 90 degree. Total angle is 218. From the 0, the angle will be 20 degree. Okay, so you can see here the angle, if we just write, okay, if I connect this, see somewhere this angle, this is see 20 degree. So Then using that, we'll have to find out the angle of this one. You will have to find out the angle. Then it is 180 minus 5. You get an angle of minus 18. From minus 2 plus j 2.64, and plus 18 from minus 2 minus j 2.64. Okay, then yeah, I keep the protractor like this. Mark 18. Where will 18 come? Minus 18 will come here. This is 20, and somewhere here 18 will come. So the root locus will come like this, making an angle 18. This is 0 axis. So here to here there is an angle of 18. Then it will proceed like this. Here it will come out making plus 18 and proceed like this. See, now this is angle 18 plus minus 18 here, and you will have, if I keep the protractor like this and mark my plus 18. So they come out making an angle of minus 18 and plus 18 and proceed towards the imaginary axis, and then further they'll continue towards the infinity, searching for a 0. Here the root locus should have started from here, but there is a mistake. It is not starting from the C, it is starting from P1, proceeds towards 0. It meets a 0. Whereas these two, they don't have a 0, they'll go in search of a 0 at infinity. We will see the root locus, we will see the MATLAB program for this. Okay. See, this is the MATLAB program that we have got. Okay. You can see the values. Okay. See, from 0, that is the gain was 0 here. At this point, the gain is 0. As it is moving, as it goes and meets the 0 here, the gain at this point is very high. It is very high actually. Then here, coming to this point, see where it meets. It is meeting at, what was the calculated value? It was around 4.6, isn't it? It was 4.35. The gain was 8.8. Here it is. Okay, I have not shared it. Here you see this is the root locus that we have got. Okay. I'll just take it that side. So this is the root locus from the 3 poles. Okay. As I bring it here, see at the imaginary axis, the S value, the point of intersection was plus j 4.35. Here it is plus j 4.4, and the gain at that point was 8.8. It is 8.75. And here if we check here, okay, at this point, see the gain was 0, and as it proceeds towards, it meets the 0 here, and you see the gain, it is infinity. The gain here is infinity. Okay, at minus 9, this root locus will meet its 0. It starts from this pole and ends at the 0, whereas these two, it starts from this pole but it doesn't find a 0, and it will meet a 0 at infinity. So it will go on along the asymptote.